I bid you good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be watching this. This is a semi-live transmission. It's not live on YouTube, but it's live on other platforms as we speak. Then it gets uploaded to YouTube and then BitChute and all the other major video platforms. So guys, don't forget to join me on other platforms. Links above on the channel. Go to the top of the channel and you could find me there. If October 10th comes around, I'm very cautious about this, guys. October 10th comes around, just go here and you'll see me up top here before, December 10th, December 10th comes around, 2019. I'm not sure what YouTube has planned. I'm on Brighton, I'm on BitTubers, and I'm on BitChute, and also Patreon. So if you guys want to get on one of those, come up here to the top of the channel and find it. What do we have going on? Edinburgh Exodus. Yep, Scotland. We've been talking about Scotland for 2 years now in the channel. 2 years we've been talking about Scotland and their housing crisis and how they saw this strange phenomena of bidding wars. They've never seen bidding wars before and foreign speculation and foreign investing. And it's been crippling them. We've been following the one in Dublin and in Belfast. And we've been following, London's gone. London's finished. All the youth and all the people, productive people, have all moved to Middle England. People that actually want to make a difference in their country have moved to Middle England. A lot of them have left the big cities. So Edinburgh Exodus, sky-high property prices and rents force more people out of the capital. This is very dangerous. People born and raised in their own capital cannot live in their own cities. And we're talking about professionals. We're not talking about low-income housing. We're talking about people that actually make the difference in the city, that actually contribute to the infrastructure and contribute to building these cities and what they are today. And these countries go back thousands of years, not a couple of hundred years like Canada, or 100 and something years like Canada. It goes way back, right? And these guys have a lot of old money in their country, passed down by lineage of family, right? So Edinburgh, Exodus, sky-high property prices and rents force more people out of the capital. Rents have risen 46.3% since the start of 2010, the Scottish government figures show. This is a huge deal because the Scottish proper, or the Edinburgh proper, are having what happens when they can't afford to live in their own. Well, we're seeing what's happening here, but countries like Scotland are smaller countries, right? Scotland, in my comparison, would be like Canada. It doesn't have a lot of major cities, right? There's not a lot of countries like America with all the highway system spread out, the infrastructure, the major cities all over the place that you could reestablish yourself. If you don't like living in Los Angeles, you can move to Houston. You don't like Houston, move to Tucson. You don't like Tucson. There's more major cities in Texas than there is in all of the UK. Easily. Just Texas alone. So you see what I'm saying, right? Skyrocketing rent prices and rising house prices are forcing Edinburgh residents to move to surrounding areas in search of affordable housing. New figures from the Scottish government released this week show the average rent in the Lothians have risen by 46.3% between 2010 and 2019 for two-bedroom properties. The rise is almost double the pace of rent across Scotland as a whole and more than double the rate of inflation. There you go. See, capitalism works if only wages keep up with inflation. That's it. If wages keep up with the cost of things, people in Edinburgh would be making like £22 an hour, £30 an hour average wage, because of the cost of living is just getting out of reach. But in private sector workers that actually support the public sector in keeping your police and all that funded by your private sector can't afford to pay their workers more money because they're drowning in taxes and debt and personal debt and business debt. Sorry, I gotta wet my beak there. As housing costs begin to rise, more and more people are forced to leave Edinburgh for further afield in order to find affordable housing, with experts saying such moves can lead to mental and physical health problems for those most vulnerable. There you go. Whatever happened to your love your neighbor, protect each other, look out for each other. It's like, really, there's got to be some sort of give or take scenario here. Something's got to have to work here. You know what I'm saying? In August, the Evening News reported that there are now more than 7,000 full property Airbnbs in Edinburgh, and October released a report in collaboration with the Bureau of Investigate Journalism. Only 12 homes in the Lothian area could be afforded by people on housing benefit. That's just housing benefit. Never mind the people that actually work 2 jobs or 3 incomes or 4 incomes in one property. Edinburgh City Council have come under fire for not doing enough to reduce the pressure on the housing market, which Aberdeen Considine reported saw 860 million pounds in property sales in the third quarter. So who's buying these properties, in the third quarter? Calls for more genuinely affordable and social housing have been made, with Shelter Scotland calling for continued expansion of social housing as a priority. Kate Campbell, housing conveyor at the council, said the authority will build 20,000 affordable homes in the next 10 years. Okay, they had Kiwi Build in New Zealand, and I think they built 18 homes, and they were supposed to build 100,000. Now they're doing something in London with 100,000, or London area, or the UK, England, I think, and 100,000 in England. I don't think Canada has anything on its radar for that. I don't think the US does either. I know California as its own state does, because like 1 out of 3 units in California are empty, investor owned. So 1 out of 3 in California. Imagine how much housing is in California total. Imagine 1 in 3 of that. Wow. They're estimating 180,000 empty homes in LA County, just as in LA County. So we're like all of California. San Francisco says has 66,000 empty vacant investor property. So it's kind of dangerous to see where this is headed. 20,000 more affordable homes in the next 10 years. Conservatives group leader White called on the council to do more to encourage private development. Yeah, the problem is private development does not want to build at a loss, right? So they don't want to build affordable housing because there's no money in it, right? So private sector building isn't in it anymore for the poor. They're in it for profit. So that's why they're building these luxury condos in Edinburgh and luxury, homes. But then there is a market for it, but it's not the Scottish proper that's buying these properties, right? Graeme Brown, director of Shelter of Scotland, said this is putting pressure on household budgets, and far too many people are living precious existence just making ends meet, with the prospect of homelessness looming over them. Why do human beings that actually work towards this need to worry about whether or not they get to eat tomorrow? The answer to this is to keep expanding social housing in Scotland. We've just seen the first increase in the number of homes since 1980, thanks to the end of Right By, the largest building program since 1970. So here's the problem with this, guys. Another problem. Wages in Scotland, adjusted with inflation, haven't moved since 1974. But you're saying, well, Mike, my dad makes I make 18 pounds or 18 or 20 euros an hour or 18 pounds an hour. What are you talking about, Mike? My dad used to make £1 an hour, but it's the buying power adjusted to inflation. So since 1972, wages in Scotland have not gone up. They've gone up on paper. Realistically, your buying power hasn't. Worryingly, we face off a cliff edge where this is to stop in 2021 if we don't get an urgent commitment from Scottish government that we will keep building. Accessibility and issues also reduce choice. There you go. Lack of affordable housing becomes even more serious if you require additional needs or particular accessibility requirements. People in wheelchairs, walkers, people that fought in these goddamn wars to keep you guys free. Olivia Lindsay, head of the Casework Services and at Housing Options Scotland, who help disabled people, elderly people, and veterans find housing, said the lack of appropriate homes can lead to mental health problems. She added more of her clients are being forced to look outside of Edinburgh in order to be able to afford to rent or buy a house. Ms. Lindsay said, if any of our clients come through to us and don't have high priority housing need, the chances of them being housed is really slim. So the advice is to look in the surrounding areas. Buying in Edinburgh is really tough. Prices are definitely increasing. East Lothian is probably where prices are increasing the most. The closer you are to Edinburgh, prices get higher, and further away you are, the cheaper it would get. There are a lot of people wishing to return to Edinburgh because of issues of loneliness and isolation, but there doesn't seem any scope to move back to those areas. If someone is unsustainable housed, then the unsuitable house will not be improving their health. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. Remember what happened in New Zealand with the black mode and meth testing homes and all this crap? Well, there's lots of crap happening in other parts of the world where people living in low-income conditions are basically living in very deterrent conditions. We read it in London where 8 million people are living in impoverished, detrimental, crazy conditions. If you're moving out partially because you can't afford it and you are moving into another unaffordable house, it is pretty well documented that it can lead to a reduction in mental and physical well-being. More than 20,000 homes pledged, but it's not happening fast enough. But is it happening fast enough? That's the question. 20,000 affordable homes are currently being built in Edinburgh, she said. We know Edinburgh is a very pressured housing market. That's why we've committed to building 20,000 affordable homes over the last 10 years. We will continue to work with government through the city regional deal to secure more grant funding and greater certainty to deliver strong pipeline. It's estimated that there is a loss of around 10% of private rented homes to short-term let in recent years, which is leading to greater demand and increasing rents. We are seeking additional regulatory powers to tackle this issue arising from the STL and have been actively involved in recent Scottish Government consultation honoring new regulatory powers to tackle this issue. So they're missing targets, and it goes on to saying, we need to leave the city. We need to leave the city came when the mom of three discovered she was to have twins. So people now having families and that work, Miss Petrus and her family ended up buying a 3-bedroom house with gardens for £161,000. But they bought it outside the city, right? She said, we didn't look at anything comparable to Edinburgh because we would have been even close to being afford it. And it's a decision Mrs. Lang-Peters does not regret. I really enjoy my time in Edinburgh, she said, but we need somewhere that was suitable for the family. It's annoying to have to pay £20 to get to Edinburgh before you leave. So basically getting into the city is becoming a problem. But here's the deal, guys. I left Vancouver. I was sick and tired of living in Vancouver and living into the cesspool of hate. Nobody has money. Everyone's mad at each other. Everyone's over-leveraged. I decided that I'm done with this. I'm moving with the family. So we moved to a small town called Merritt. We're here now. We live here. We enjoy being here. And you know what? It's really, really good. It's really good. I live in a very spacious home, enormous backyard, and I paid next to nothing. Almost in comparison to what people are paying in Vancouver, I paid next to nothing. This house in Vancouver would be like $2-3 million, maybe $4 million with the land. But I got it for next to nothing, 2 hours away from the major city of Vancouver. Guys, in Edinburgh, I'm praying for you guys. I love you guys. If you're watching this and you're in Scotland, please share my video. Get it out there. I do talk about your country a lot. Unless the videos have been deleted, don't forget to go here. Food ban usage in Scotland hits a record high. Scotland edition, God Save the Queen. There was actually more than this, but unfortunately, Videos are being, how do you say, exterminate! Exterminate! But I'll keep you guys up to date on what's happening with the affordability housing crisis in Scotland, Ireland, Canada, United States, Western United States mostly, the gateway to Asia, and Australia and New Zealand. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching Scotland's housing crisis. And don't forget to share this.